Okay, guys. If you have any questions, let's discuss so that it will be helpful for you as well as if you are not practicing, please practice it. Otherwise, the next topics, it's going to be more. More new things will coming up. It's very hard to catch up things.
Okay, sir.
But Bayanu ESPN update చేశారు కదా.
Okay, sir.
అదే 15 days కి చూపిస్తుంది maximum.
15 days, sir.
What problems you are having, Harish?
అట్లా లేదు.
ఇలా days.
ఓకే, నాకు
Permanent చేశావా? Temporary చేశావా?
పర్మిషన్.
So, do you have any?
ఆఫీస్లో మళ్ళీ పర్మనెంట్ చేశావా అన్నట్లు. Permanent.
Yeah, Sitaram garu. Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when I'm doing the foreign key, I'm not able to compare the do the I'm not able to do the link between the two tables.
You're not able to link between the two tables. So what exactly are the tables and what exactly the scripts you are running? Can you send me the table scripts?
With the key ID, I'm not able to get the result.
No. Can you send me the script and or can you share your screen?
Sorry. I am using my uncle's laptop.
Okay.
I mean,
Your voice is breaking, I think.
before ending the class.
Your voice is breaking, Harish.
Hello?
Your voice is breaking.
Hello?
Harish, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, I am in car. I am going to home right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I will text.
Okay, if you send me the script, then I can tell you what exact the problem is, and I know what exact the scenario you are facing trouble. Okay, so we will discuss Pratik is also having question we will discuss one more time what is a primary key and foreign key. So the primary key is a key for a table. Each table will have one primary key which will handle uniqueness of the records. If you want the data to be on a unique way, then we will have the primary key. So the key for the primary key is on each table we have one primary key, and so when you have a primary key on a table, you cannot insert duplicate values. That is the first thing, and the second thing is you cannot insert a null value. So you have for each and every record you have a unique record. So in that way, in future, if you have any issues on one of the columns, if you want to retrieve, or if you want to pull up the data, or if you want to update the data, so you can go on a key column that will go in a faster way, that will help us to update the proper records. So that's about the primary key. So coming to the foreign key, so if you so in order to be a foreign key, it has means so the foreign key is relation between the two tables. So if you want to establish a relation between the two tables, let's suppose employment and department, if you want to establish a relation between the two tables, then what we have to do is one of the table primary key, you have to make a foreign key on another table. So for example, as we discussed again, so we have an employee table and we have a department table. Department has a department number as a primary key, and so if you want to establish a relation between Harish, I think you got a presenter again. Can you share? Can you give the sharing screen to me? So we have an employee number and department number. We have a both table, and department number we have a primary key on the department number on the department table. So if you want to establish a relation between department and employee number, So you have employee table and employee number is a primary key. You have all the columns, and if you want the reference between the department number on this table, what you have to do is you have to put a department number on the employee table, and give a reference to the table. So in that way, you are establishing a relation between the two tables. So you guys are following, or it's it's giving any trouble for you guys to understand? Are you guys there?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so Pratik, is that answer your question, or you have still question on that one?
No, I'm like theoretically I'm clear about about both the keys, but when I come into actual practice, I couldn't make it. I
Okay.
mean, I'll
Okay, what is the scenario you are coming up on that one? What exactly?
I can assign a primary key, but the problem is with the foreign key. I don't know like how to assign a foreign key between two tables and all.
Yeah, that's a simple we'll go again one more time. I'll show you to make it clear.
Okay, like last 5 minutes, can you like just show how to assign a foreign key between the two tables? That would be fine, I guess.
Yeah, we'll go now, just for 5 minutes. It won't take that long. So
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I got the same table like this.
just I think I have a connection issue.
And one more question,
Yeah, go on, Pratik.
all the tab, if I close all the tabs, then
Mhm.
how would like in a different scenario, in a real world scenario, how can I get all this access using the command line interface?
Okay, command line is you can open up any time, just go here and
Yeah, I got this screen,
Mhm.
and how do I connect to the server? I
This
mean,
is so
you
when
got
you
my
get
question, right? If I
yeah,
go,
so when you get connect when you get a SQL prompt, you connect it, then only you get a SQL prompt. Otherwise, you won't get a SQL prompt. So
okay, if on a public network I am going to connect this, and how would be the startup?
so if you go to the public network, how it is, first of all, you have to have a company access to that one, you have to have the
Okay,
access of that particular database. Suppose if there is
okay,
a server in Singapore, okay, and it's on
okay,
Unix based, it is a server and its own. Okay, suppose you are trying to connect it. First, you have to establish a connection between the just a software connection, because first you have to connect to that server, right? Then
yeah,
on top of it, then you once you connected, you have a IP address, then you just connect it. Once you have that connection established using the VPN, there are some other sources external sources available. So once you get connected, then if you go and type SQL plus
okay,
HR/HR will connect you, take you to there. This is how you get it. But before that, you have to have a connection between the server and to you.
okay,
So you got it right. This is you're connecting to, so using a SQL plus, you are connecting to the server now.
okay,
This is a client server architecture. So it is also client server architecture, but in this case you have a server at your place as well as client at your place. But once you got a connection,
okay,
every connection is a new connection. If I connected here again, I open some other tab. I just
okay,
type a new thing. It is a new connection again.
okay. SQL plus HR/HR, right?
Yeah, you just give the XE is the database name. If you have one database, then you connect to one. You don't need to give the database name. Otherwise, you have to specify the database name.
Okay,
Okay. So
thank you. one more question.
Yeah, go on. I'm just
Like,
checking.
I've seen like some of the SQL developing scripts.
Okay.
Is the actual script like this long? I
No,
mean,
it is like this. Like, this one, if you understand, like, in future, like, if you understand, that is fine. So this one is telling, like, it is a PCT tree. It is again a DBA, means if you create a table like this, just if you take this one and just create a table, it
okay,
will create, and all this information, it will come up. This is designed
okay,
by the
it
DBS.
creates this.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
defined by the DBS. So basically what they
Okay.
do is, like, at the time of like allocating, they allocate this at the at the time of creating a database, they have a huge task, like, it will be like, 1 hour day, and they have a huge discussion going on, like, how our database should be, how much volume of data each day it is coming through. Based on that, they will allocate all this information, the index PC
Sure.
tree. This will come up. If I explain this one now, it will be like, it will be tougher for you, but once, because this is a DBA stuff. So even though, like, without that also, you can become a, I mean, developer. You don't have any issues, but only thing is, like,
Okay.
at this stage it is a little bit tougher for you guys to understand, like, it will confuse on the other topics. So the
Okay.
the basic thing you should remember is the table space, and the basic thing you should remember is, like, the storage and the table space. I'll come up to this point later. Okay, it will be little,
Mm-hmm.
it will be little confusing for you guys. Okay,
Okay. Sure.
but you don't need to write, you don't need to write all this. All you have to do is,
Mm-hmm.
even in a live environment, you just create a table, like, just like, what we were doing other day. Just creating a table, just create table script. This is all you have to do. This is
Okay.
even live environment. If someone asks you to create an employee table with employee number, employee name, hire date, they will give a requirement to you, hire date and department number and employee number as a primary key. Then just
Mm-hmm.
create the script and give it to them. They will run it. Okay.
Okay.
So that's about that. And so here we have a
I
foreign key.
mean, in the real world, is a sorry.
Yeah, go on, go on.
I mean, in the real world, is it that simple? This job,
No, no. Yeah, in
just
real world,
creating a table.
yeah. See, it's a combination of the task which you have given. Yeah, create table is
Okay.
really simple, but once you have a data, there are some other tasks it will come up. So creating a table
Okay.
is that's so simple. Any DDL statements, it's so simple and straightforward. It is very easy to understand, but to access the data, like, once you have a data in the table, then there are some other things, like, which we are going to discuss next few classes.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, so in this table, we have employee number and we have a primary key on the employee number, right? And we have a foreign key on a department number. Okay, so as we said, like in earlier, hey Harish, are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So now so as we see, like, we have on a department table, we have a department number as a primary key. So this is the first criteria. Is the first criteria to become a foreign key is it should be the foreign key column should be a primary key on a other table. So this is what the scenario is. So we have a department number and it is a primary key. That's the first scenario. So which we are satisfying. The second scenario is employee table. So what we are doing is employee number. We are having a primary key on the table, but we have a foreign key on this table as a department dot department number. Are you guys clear till this point? Do you guys have any questions on this? Yes, Sudhir.
We are good, Ram.
Okay. So once we have on the table creation part, we are done it. Okay. So now suppose you have to see the data on the both the tables. So if you are trying to, so if you see the data on the department table, so we have a data department number 10, 20 and 30. Okay. So this is a primary key and it is satisfying the primary key values and we are good. So suppose if you look at the employee table, so we are having a primary key and foreign key relation, right? So we see all 10 we see on the employee table as department number either 10, 20 or 30, or either of these three values. Apart from that, you don't see any other data on the employee table. Let's go and see on the employee table. So if you see here, so you see either 10, 20, so either of the three values, either 10, 20, you can see multiple times the same value, but you see only 10, 20 and 30. You don't see a value which does not exist on the department number. Are you guys clear on this till this point?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear you.
Can you repeat this again?
Yeah, so we have a relation between the employee and department table. We have on the department table, we have a department number as a primary key. Coming to the employee table, we have an employee number as a primary key and we have a references between the department number and the primary key value. We have created a reference as a foreign key as a department number. So now when you select the data on the department table, you see there are three values 10, 20 and 30 as a primary. The department number is a primary key, right? So we have 10, 20 and 30. So if you go and see on the data on the primary key on the department number, you should see either of these three values. You should not see, because there is a relation, right? There is a reference. If you have data on this table, on the department table, then only you have a data on the reference data, I mean on the foreign key data on the employee table. So if you look at now here, you see on the department data, you see 10, 20 and 30. Suppose if you try to insert any value, we say like, so now I take 6 and if you try to insert 40, which is not there on the department number, it will throw an error showing that like, so integrity constraint, the foreign key value does not exist. This is the error. So there is no relation between, because the 40 department does not exist on the department table. That's the reason you are getting this error. So in order to have a 40 department, what you have to do is like, you have to insert data on the department table. So now I have a department 40 as available on the department table. Now I got inserted like 40 on this one. Okay, now if you try to insert like 40 data on this one, then it will insert. I don't have any issues. So if you see now, it got inserted, and if you select see the data, you see 40 department on this one. You guys are clear till this point?
Yes.
Okay. So now today we move on to different topic. So we will we so far we covered like DDL and DML and TCL. So you guys are means clear on the DDL means like any objects we are creating on the database, we are creating it using the DDL statements. Any data you want to store it on the table, we are going with the DML operations. Like if you want to insert a data, you write up an insert statement. By using insert, you will be inserting a data. If you want to update any information on the table on the data level, then we are writing an update statement. If you want to take out the record, like then we have to writing a delete statement. And if you want to save that information, we go by commit. And if you want to we don't want to save that information on that particular session, then we say rollback. So far like we have covered like we are creating an object and we have a data. The next big topic is SQL operator. Like we have a data on the tables. Now what is the biggest task for us is like how to retrieve a data, because we have a huge big tables. And you have like huge data on the tables, like huge data on the tables. And we want to retrieve the data from the table. So you retrieve the data from the table using the select statement. So that is what so far we have used. So select is the command we use to retrieve the data from the table from the database. Suppose so far we have used like different table different select statement. Suppose if you want to retrieve a data from employees, so what we do is like select star from the table name. So the table name here is let's say so to retrieve a data from the database, so what we do is like we will write a select statement. So this is like about like how to retrieve the data from the database. So we store so much, I mean, so by using DML operations, so insert, by using a DDL operation, we created this table, employee table. And by using the DML operation, we have inserted data. Like sometimes you update, like I want to update the last name, you write up an update statement and update the information. If I don't want like 105 record, then you write up a delete statement and delete this information. So once we have a data on the table, then what our next step is like to retrieve the data, to fetch the data from the database. What we do is like we will write up a select statement. So we have a different different approach on the select. We are that the select star from table name will give basically like just information, like to retrieve the data from the all the data from the table from the table. But we have a different ways to retrieve the to retrieve the information. So the simple select means like what we did earlier, like select star from table name is a simple select, like and it will give the whole table data. Suppose if you have a billion record, it will just fetch up like billion record and show it to you. And from there we take like we'll put in the application and store it. And the second thing is like comparison operations. Suppose I want to see only let's suppose we'll take an example. I want to retrieve whose salary is more than $2,000 from a column. So what we need to do is like we write up a comparison operator. Suppose if we put a greater than 2,000, usually like in general scenario, if I want to get more than 2,000 salary, what you do is like I'll see like more than greater than 2,000 values. If you look at the on the table and present it in front of you, that's a great, that's the way you do it, like so to get the like comparison operators are basically like if you are comparing and retrieve the information from the table. And the second one is the in operator and not in operator. We will go by one on like how we retrieve, and how we'll see like one by one how we do it. And the second one is in and not in operator. So basically in operator is basically if you want to retrieve information between I want to retrieve Ram and Pratik employee name data. Suppose if you want to retrieve the information between a list of values from the given conditions, then we use a in operator. And not in also work the same way. If I don't want the selected information, I don't want other than these two values, I want to retrieve the whole information from the table, then we use the not in operator. So in basically what it does is on a list of values, so if you want to retrieve the information between the list of the values, then we go for a in operator. Coming to the next one is the between operator. The between operator is basically between the two values. Suppose I want to retrieve the table the information from the table between last 10 days. Suppose if I want to retrieve from March from July 1st to July 10th. I want to see that all the employees who joined between the July 1st and July 10th. So what we do is we write up a between operator. So if you say select star from table name where you write up a between between where high date between July 1st and July 10th, then it will we will get only that particular information. And the next one is the like operator. So like operator is basically so if it is a pattern search. Suppose if you go to the Google, you do a search, right? I'll retrieve only okay, so, I want to get Oracle site. So what you write up, you just write up Oracle, you'll get a Oracle related all the information from the Google. The same way, if you want to retrieve the whole information from the table using a pattern search, something where my last name is between the three character RAM. So if you want to get all RAM related data, then what you do is you write up a like operator. And we'll see is null and is not null is also one of the operators. We'll see what it comes up. Is null and is null, is not null, and any is also operator, and all is also operator. We will see one by one how we retrieve the data. So the first thing is just simple retrieving the data. Suppose if you want to retrieve the whole records from the table, what you write up is select star from the table name. So this will give the whole whole data from the table. So it will give all the records from the table. Suppose this table has, let's see how many records. This table has 107 records. If you see records, so if this table has 107 records, all the data is retrieved from the table. So if you want to see how many records are there on this table, simply write select count of star from. So this will give the how many records on my table. So we have 107 records. So when you click on this one, when you say select star from table, right, it will retrieve all the records. If you go at a point of time, it will retrieve and fetch 50 records, and when you go down, it will show all the records. So then suppose I have so all the data. So now we will go on a restricted data. So if you want to process the data and retrieve the data based on a certain conditions, then we are going for these operators, any of these given listed operators, any of the above operators, comparison, in, not, in, between, and all these operators. So any data if you want to retrieve between using the operator, so we put on a where clause. So where clause is the one which is you have to you will be doing more, all the comparison operators using the where clause. So select star from So where is the class? Similar to these are the commands. These are the system defined commands. Select is the system defined command, and from is the system defined command, and where is the system defined command. So this is the table name. Select star from table name, and where I want to get the all the data whose salary is greater than 10,000. So where is salary? This is one of the greater than operator. This is the comparison operator, and say 10,000. So you got the data, right? If you see the salary, you see all the salary is greater than 10,000. So I can sort it by, so if you see, so now I got only 15 records. If you see now, so you got like, you on this table, you got only whose salary is greater than 10. You see like, only 15 guys, 15 employees whose salary is greater than 10,000. So that is about the greater than operator. Okay, and so if you want to sort it, then you can type like, order by. This is one more additional command, like, where I want to order by based on salary. So you see like, the salary is in a ascending order. You can write up using ascending or descending. If you see this one, so if you see like, 10,500 is the starting salary, means greater than 10,000, and then if you go on like, 24,000 is the maximum salary. So similar way, I want to see the record all whose salary is less than 10,000. So you write up the same query, select star from where this is the common, these three are the keywords. It has to follow each and every, one after one. So this is called the syntax. This is the SQL syntax. So where salary less than 10,000. So now I get records who has a salary less than 10,000. If you see all the records, it is less than 10,000. So if I want to see like, on a sort way, then I write up order by salary. So you see the salary is in an ascending order. So if you see last value, which is like, 96 is 1,000, and you see like, you see more, so like, till you don't see any data which got retrieved more than 10,000 salary data. And suppose if you want to like, let's suppose I'll make it 9,000. So if I run now, I see like, I see all the data which is less than 9,000. But I want to get like, I want it to include, I want to retrieve the data even 9,000 9,000 salary records as well. So what you have to do is less than or equal. Usually this is a small like, mathematical way which you retrieve. So if I want to include 9,000 as well, so you have to write up a equal. So now if you see the data, then you see the records which has a salary of 9,000 as well. So you see like, 4 records we got retrieved. Okay, so you have a similar way, you can have the greater than or equal to, you can retrieve that information. So it has to be after. That's all. So this is about the comparison operators. So you are comparing the data and retrieving the data from the database. This is what you are doing when you are trying to do it. So that is the first step. So that's a comparison, and the second one is in operator. So whatever the like, So we are accessing, so all the operators, what we are doing is, so we want to retrieve the information from the table based on certain criteria. Then we will be using the operator. So when we use the operator means, like, we have a data, but based on certain conditions, we want to retrieve the information and present it to a application, or somewhere else. So any operator, so it will any operator which we do, it will follow by the where condition. So when we say, like, select star from table name, it will retrieve all the information. Suppose if we want to get the information based on certain criteria, then we it will be followed by the where class. Suppose so the next one is the in and not in operator. So what we do is, like, if I want to, so I have a data. So I have a data, and I want to retrieve who has, like, the data means like between 10 and 20. So I just want to retrieve the information from the table based on 10 and 20. So what I do is select star from employee table, where so if you see the information right now, whatever the retrieved, it is between the, so you see only 10 and 20. So if you want to include 30 as well, just you can include, like, you can include as many as you can, like, there is no limit on that one, like, you can retrieve. But if you want to you want to get a information from the table based on, like, a given list of conditions, list of the values, LOVs, like, list. If you want to retrieve the information based on list of values, then we use the in operator. The same way, like, if you see now, so if you see all 10, 20, 30, so which are all, like, all so whatever we listed here, so it retrieved only that information. So eh, I don't want, I just want to retrieve the records from the table. So based on, like, what are the values on the listed, what are the I want to get all the values not in the not in this list. So you simply use the not in operation, not in operator. So if you see, like,
Huh?
if you see, if you put not in, then you get a records which are not in on the list. Suppose if we run this query, you see the information, like, you see all the information which is not on the, either it is not. So you can sort by department number. So if we sort it and see now, you see now, like, you don't see which we don't see the data which has the values of either 10, 20 or 30 department. You see all other values. You might have get all the information other than the listed one. So so not in means, like, not included in the list. So this is about the not in. And the second one is a between operator. So I was telling you, let me check the data first, what I have on the employee table. I have the hire date as so I have a hire date, like, 13 January 2, and I have 2004 and other things. So what I want is I want to retrieve a data high between high date I mean 1st January 2 and 31st 03 2003. So what I do is so if you want to so I will use the between operator. This is a syntax, and don't confuse. I'll explain you this one later, the dates format. So it will be little you have to give this format: 31st December. So if you see now, you see the values. So between the 1st January to 2001 to 2004. We are just sorting and just making it confirm whether we are good. So if you see now 13 January 01 falls under 2001. I mean it is after, it is in between. So this is the right value, and if you go on 2002 2003 and you see so you don't get a value you have till 2010 or 2014, but but you are restricting to retrieve the data based on a given condition. Are you guys are following so far? You guys have any questions so far? Okay, so just want to just for a brief 5 to 10 minutes I'll be sending these queries. Practice for some time, 5 to 10 minutes, and let me know if you guys have any trouble. I'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes, and if you guys have any questions, let me know. We'll cover next the other operators. Are you guys are okay? Is that clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay. So how are you doing? How are you guys doing so far? You guys have any questions? So far, I guess are clear on comparison operators. Yes, Sudhir.
Yeah, we are good, Ram.
Yeah.
We are good.
So are you guys able to retrieve the information on a given condition? So you will be getting a requirement something like this. So get all the get all the employees whose salary is between 2000 and 5000. So you have to know, like, what operator I have to use and how to write up a query. So you'll be getting a requirement, a simple requirement like this, and it will be go on like anything you are you have a questions on retrieving your data. It's basically a select statement and basically a comparison operators. So based on this you retrieve the data and just present it the information to whatever level, sometimes you have to pull up that information and attach it to the applications like Java or Crystal Report or so and so operations, and sometimes analysis purpose you provide that information. But basically you will be using either of these all, or either of these condition, or might be some scenarios you will be using, or might be using all the conditions. So it's a combination of the operators which you use depend on the data retrieval, depend on the requirement. So I guess you guys are following so far.
Yes.
So coming to the next one is a like operator. So like operator is is for a pattern search. Suppose if you want to retrieve the information based on a certain pattern, then you do a like operator, as we were doing in the Google, as explained you earlier. Suppose if you want to search based on Oracle, or Oracle PL SQL, then you type that word, and whatever the values, it work as a like operator and retrieve all the information from the Google, which is related to that one. Suppose in this case what we are doing is I want to retrieve the information whose whose email is whose email is between any pattern search WHA. So what I do is select star from email like this is a while search operator. Percentile give you whatever the values means, it ignores how many characters before that, and after the percentile it will ignores whatever the values. It will pull up the information from the table which has the values WHA. Let's see how many records are there with that. In this case we have only one record, but we will try some other scenario where we will pull up more records. Suppose I say which value is PROG. No, that's not a perfect search. Let's suppose the phone number is 22. Let's suppose. So what I do is select star from percentage. So you'll get all the information, all the phone numbers which has anywhere between the 2. If you see the phone numbers, so you see 2 here. So you see 2 here. That's the reason this record got fetched up. You see 2 here somewhere, that's the reason the record got fetched up. In this scenario, you got 2 here. That's the reason this got fetched up, and you see last 2. So you find anywhere. So it search for the value anywhere on this phone number column, and if it finds the pattern value, then definitely it will pull up and retrieve the information. Similar way, I don't want the values between which has a 2 you simply write it's a not a negative, so you write up a not value, and if you see now this one, you'll get a lot of values. But basically if you go one by one as well, you don't see anywhere 2 you don't have you don't see anywhere continually 2. You don't see anywhere of the values, you don't see the 2 2. So basically the like operator, you basically what you do is like you will be if you want to do any pattern search on a condition, then you guys have to do a like operator. So the similar way, any, so what any does is basically so if you want to compare a operator, like if you want to get the salary whose salary is greater than 2000, what you do is like select star from table name and you write up a salary greater than 2000, you use the greater than operator. But I have a situation where like greater than means it can be so any of the values bit like either 2000 or 3000 or 5000. So any of these values greater than, you got a similar scenario, then we write up a any operator. So we have a different operators basically, but you use this operator based on certain conditions. So you will be asking like sometimes like I want to see the see the guys like whose salary is greater than 5000, and but I want to see at the same point of time who has hired in between like 2000 to 2005. So here like in this scenario, so you in this scenario what you guys have to do is like you guys have to write a two operators. So one is a between and one is like salary greater than. So we have a scenario where you have asked to retrieve all the values whose salary is greater than 5000 and who has hired between 2000 to 2005. So what we come up is select star where first one is salary whose salary is greater than 2000 5000. That was given the requirement, and you want to means who has hired between 2000 2000 to 2005, between 31st December. So you are using two operators, like earlier we were using like I just want to retrieve the all the data from the table whose salary is greater than 5000, then I'll be using the greater than symbol. And if you want to retrieve between like who has hired between 2001 2000 to 2005, then you will be writing an individual statement. But here the requirement is to pull up all the information whose salary is 5000 greater than 5000 and who has hired between like January 1st to 2005. Let's see how many records we will get it. So if you see now, you see the combination. So you can see you can write an order by, so you can sort hire date, I'll come up order by later, like just right now, like just we'll look at the data between the two operators. If you see, you see the salary greater than 5000, you see the starting salary is greater than, you see any of the values, it is greater than 5000, and you see any hire date who is between 2000 to 2005. You don't see any data like 2011 or 2000 below 2000. You see all the records who has like hire date is between 2000 to 2005. So now I say like let's start by hire date. We'll see like descending way. So if you see now, he is in between. So you don't see any data who means apart from 2000 to 2005. So basically like the these are the operators. So basically you will be
Ram, I have a question.
yeah, go on.
Uh, can you write down a query for any operator? The sample example. Any operator.
So what we do is So now if you see, like you see anywhere data between 2000 to 5000, which is equivalent to, like if you see the number of the records, which is equivalent to, like greater than 2000, but this will this will be using in a certain scenario. So if you see now the records are, like how many are there? 107 records. So if you say now, so you'll be seeing the same 107 records, but so when we go on, like the joins, and when we go all the joins, like we will be retrieving the data based on different tables, combination of the tables. Then I'll be covering more on the any operator. It will be, you will be known, like how it is useful for any operator. But we'll be using any operator very less scenarios, but depend on a requirement, depend on a scenario, will be using. Is that clear, Sudhir?
Yeah, okay.
But any and all we use very less, but you'll come up a scenario, like you get a scenario, like where you want to retrieve a information certain way, then definitely we are going to use that the thing. And so basically these are the operators which we use usually, like so if you want to compare, like if you want to do a comparison, for example, greater than, less than, or like any comparator operators. So any comparison operator, then you will be using the means comparison, like if you want to retrieve any data information based on the comparison way, then we do the greater than or less than. And in operator is basically if you want to retrieve the information, means whatever the values in the list, then if you want to list operator, similar to list operator. So if you want to retrieve the information based on a list, then we use the list operator, the in operator. And not in is, like whatever all the values which are not on the list, if you want to retrieve all the data, then you will be using the not operator. So the between operator is, like basically you use between certain starting point to between ending point. If you want to retrieve a salary between 2000 to 5000, then you use the between operator. Or if you want to retrieve, then basically most of the time we use the between the dates. If you want to a certain date on to certain date, if you want to retrieve all the data from the table, then you use a between operator. And the like operator is basically, like if you want to do a pattern search, then we will be going the like operator. And is null and is not null, basically if you want to retrieve the information based on, like so if you want to retrieve the data from the table, where I can say department number is null. So whichever the columns has the null values, then will be running this. I don't think So if you see the department is in null, so we retrieve the null data value from the table. The similar way, not null is basically if you want to retrieve the information whose value is not null, so then you write up the same thing and you just put it not null. So you'll end up getting the not null. So why don't you guys just can you practice few more minutes and let me know you guys have any questions on this one so far, whatever we covered. Definitely you guys once you start writing the queries, I'm sure you guys will be having trouble to retrieve the information, but just try to just come up a scenario. So I want to get the information from the table whose job ID is IT programmer. This is one of the requirement. So just you guys go on and write up a query and let me know if you guys have any issues on that. So I want to retrieve the data from the table whose job ID is a IT programmer. Can you guys send me the query which you will be writing? I think Shambhavi, you might have a trouble to retrieve. You might be getting error, right?
Yes.
So as we discussed, the simple thing which you missed is the quotes between. So any string operator, so in Oracle, so you have to write between the quotes. That's what you are missing. So basically, just write up in the quotes. So you have to any string value, any character or non var_char2 value, you have to write in the quotes. So now you will be so when you practice things this might be very simple very silly things, but when you practice things you might know and you might be remember easily oh, okay, this is next time onwards you come up this scenario, you can easily catch up and do the things very better way. And so can you guys write up a query so whose salary is greater than 10,000 10,000 whose salary is more than 10,000 and whose department is ID is 100. So just like send a query like whose salary is greater than 10,000 and department is 100. And there is a slight different way you can write this one. Just think about it. Retrieve a data from a table like whose salary is greater than 10,000 and department is in 100. You can use a different approach to write this as well. Like one of the approach you are following is good, but it won't give you accurate results.
Okay.
Yes, Ambavi, your query is correct. So basically, you will write up the same thing. Like you retrieve the employees whose salary is greater than 10,000 and who is in the department of 100. Like you get up this information. But as Harish, like when you write up the like operator, what it does is like it will do a pattern search. But our scenario, I think you add another where condition which is wrong. Did you get any error, Shambhavi? So you have to run it like before sending a query. So you this one is like so basically like you will be getting the records whose salary is greater than 10,000 and who is in the department of 100.
Yeah.
So run the query and like you'll be seeing errors like go like fix it a line by line way. Like if you find any a small error, like suppose if you seen right now, like whatever you send me, so this is what you send me, right? Like when you run this one, this is our approach should be like when you run this one, like you'll be getting a junk operator, like saying that like error number. Most of the time, like you'll be giving the error. This error will tells you like if you search on Google or some any search engine, you'll be getting the information like related to that one. But if you're following like one by one, like select start from, this is the one way. Basically you have only one way. So if you go line by line, like you see like now if you run this one, So you'll be saying like 105 and column number 6. So you see the 105 column and line number 6. It's giving exactly like where the line number 6. This is where it is giving the error. So you can have a little idea like there is something wrong on here. So then you can assume like oh, where should only one where allows in the query. Just take it out that one and just run whatever you have now. So now we got like invalid operator of department ID. Okay, then you go describe the table, like just go and describe it. You have described somewhere, or like you can write. So you can describe the table. So you see the department ID. It's not a department ID. Then you go here and pick it up and just say. So you should follow an approach saying that like a step-by-step process will give a better results. So most of the time like you got it. So most of the time if you go like certain way, most of the time the keywords you should always write on a capital letter, so that this is the approach usually like in live environment everyone will follow. So where like all the keywords you should write in a capital letters and sort it most of the time. That will give a better idea like where the issues are, and it will be neatly and it will be easily readable, and it will be like giving you like better idea like where I have where we are having the trouble. So are you guys are following like so far so good?
Yeah, can you check my syntax for a second?
Which one? Okay,
Like select star from employees where email like ST.
can you send me again?
1 second.
Okay, this one, right, Pratik?
Yeah.
So the like operator like it will work as a pattern search, right? So when there is a pattern search, so you are searching between like so these two values, so anywhere in the column. So anywhere in the column like if you want to if there is a ST anywhere in the column, then you want to retrieve. So you have a pattern search operator which is like percentile. You can write 1 percentile or 2. I mean you can depend on like scenario, you write up the percentile and just run it. Then if there is there are the values, then you'll get it. So let's say like let's see like what else we have, like email like. So all are in the capital, so probably you can give ST. So now you see like if you see anywhere like ST, so you'll see ST here. So wherever you find ST like in between the words, you'll be fetching that record. So similar way like not like, if you see not like, do you get it, Pratik? Are you clear, Pratik?
I'm clear.
Okay. So guys, like please practice on this like all these operators. So whatever we covered so far, most of the time like I just I think I so
Okay, is there oh, sorry.
yeah, go on Sudhir.
Is there any source like we can get all this data so practice everything like this?
Yeah,
Like,
I'll search and send it to you guys like tomorrow morning like
yeah.
definitely we have so many sources available on the net as well. You can go and search, you can find it so many things, but then I'll give a
I
like
mean,
I'll give a refer one or two like better sites to you guys, so that you can follow that.
all these data like 100 Stephen King and everything else like this, so that we can import the data from the source and we can practice
Oh,
whose
the data.
salary is greater
So,
than
so
12,000.
here is what you
Yeah.
can do is like if you want to insert more data, just add up the data. That is also one more practice for you guys. Like just write up
Okay.
insert the table, insert the data onto this table. Like insert like 20 or 30 records.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, that will give a better idea for you guys to you might see different issues, different problems. Might be it is simple for other, I mean for me as well, but it is very important in a learning curve. It is very important for you to know what the exactly is giving the problem. Okay, so so create any tables, create new tables, write up any DML operations which you have. You should be writing up always practicing putting more and more data to the table. So that's why you have a better understanding, writing up that, you will be having more every day. You will be having new topics, so it will be better. You have a more data on the table.
And you can also go through a site called w3schools.com. So all the basic commands you can practice there, Pratik.
Yeah, I know W3 schools. I'm
Yeah,
actually following it.
that's good for the basic commands.
Okay. I mean, I'm clear with this, but I just need the data to practice more. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, data is always it's better to create the data. I mean, so create as many records as you can. So when I will let you know tomorrow a sequence, and so that a sequence with that sequence you can import a incremental data. I'll show you how to insert 10,000 records at a time, and how when I was practicing I'll send you that approach so that you can have the more data and you have a better understanding on when you write up a queries. So far so good, guys. Do you have any questions?
No,
If
sir.
possible, can you explain about the null and not null again?
Yeah, so basically a null is if you want to retrieve any information from the table, a null value record, then you write up a null operator. So if you want to retrieve any information, if it is not null, then the other thing is not null. So suppose let's say you have a department in the table or manager, you have a, so I want to see all the records who doesn't have the managers. I want to retrieve all the employees who doesn't have the manager. So basically what you do is you go by a is null operator. Select star from employees, where manager ID is null. So you'll get up all the employee information who doesn't have the manager. So if we have only one employee who is a Stephen King and who doesn't have the manager. So basically, so you want to retrieve all the information who has the manager. So that is one of the requirements. So what you does is use not null. So if you see all the records, so you might see you see all the records who has the manager. You don't see any record who doesn't have the manager. So basically, so to retrieve the information with null values, then you have to write a is null operator. Is that clear, Shambhu?
Uh, I think I'll know better when I use it.
Yeah, basically when you practice it, come up with the scenario and practice it, that gives a better idea. So if you see the other thing is you pull up the information commission is null, then you'll get all the records. So if you say one of the scenarios, so I want to see the I want to get all the employees whose commission is whose commission percent is null, then you write up a query say same way. So you want to see all the employees whose commission percentage is null, then you write up as a query some way. So you see all the records whose commission, you see all the employees whose commission percentage is null.
Okay.
Okay, and so practice, guys. Like if you keep on getting like new things, like try to practice as much as you can. So that will give a better idea. So and every day you will become up in new topics. So it will be harder and harder if you don't practice it. Okay, guys. Okay, practice things, and if you have any questions, we'll see tomorrow morning, next class, and I'll put this recording in the shared drive. Okay. Have a good night, guys.
Right.